Good morning, spiritual healer Kimberly here. Hope everybody's having a great day. Welcome to Club Gig. So listen, you know, I get inspiration in the morning all the time, and there's a lot of times that I'd like to share that with you. And today I'd like to talk to you about a sensitive topic, but we're going to surround that by the June 6th portal, which is today. So let's gain a little bit of insight into moon cycles and things like that. Today is the June 6th portal because, and I'm not in astrology, okay, so this is a very top line view for your understanding. There's a lot of very powerfully energized planets that are all together at the same exact time as the new moon is here today, or last night into tonight. So what's happening right now is that there's a big influx of energy that is close to the planet Earth that is coming into our atmosphere. And we as people, because we are energetic beings, are feeling an influx of energy. Now, it's very true that there is a build-up and then a cool down for these cycles. Me, for instance, I get the maximum amount of frequency charge until that new moon hits. And once the new moon hits, then I can feel it starting to back off a little bit. Now today is a little bit different for me, however, and this is what's driving me to have this conversation with you. Today I would normally feel that little bit of release of that strong energy vibe, right? But rather than that, today, the energy vibe maintains its intensity, but has changed in frequency for me. The previous energy I was feeling, the buildup, was like a mid-range energy that I could feel, slightly agitating, where, it made you drudge into things that perhaps you wouldn't have wanted to drudge into. It's particularly powerful as well for downloads and receiving information from the Most High Creator, and being in meditation and setting intentions is very powerful time. But now I'm imagining that at this point in time, maybe because the new moon's energy is decreasing in value, that this planetary alignment is peeking through right now, and I can feel it. And it's bringing on a topic that's really important for us to grasp, although it can be uncomfortable for some people because we just simply don't understand it correctly. But through all of the experiences I've had, and how many things that have been done to me and I live through, the way that I live through it is to understand how to navigate through it, okay? So when things come up for me that I can share with you to help you navigate as well, I do that. Because I didn't have that, and it made it very, very hard. And I'm hoping that my experiences can help you too, okay? So let's talk about energy, all right? Just energy for a minute. I have an energy scale, if you will. Oh, my camera just foo-potted. An energy scale, if you will. And it is 1 to 10. It's based on the placement of our chakras as well. And it's also based on our level of spiritual wisdom gained through each step of spiritual enlightenment. Mini circles even, in addition to larger life circles. Now, this energy meter, as we discuss the chakras, the root being our foundation of who we are, this is the root chakra. The number 1 and number 2 on the energy meter are talking about the root chakra, are attached to the root chakra, where the lowest level energies within us, if trapped and unable to flow freely through our bodies, produce a negative boomerang effect in our lives. Okay? That's the root chakra. Then we go in, and number 1 and number 2. Then we go into the sacral chakra. And that's talking about finding our true joy for the purpose of utilizing it then and integrating it then into our lives fully, so that we become a fully functional spiritual being. Not just knowledge, not just heart, but the full gamut. We literally are adding the spiritual piece, which we have not yet perfected, into our bodies, our lives, and we've created a better us. Okay, and then that would be number 3 and 4 for the sacral chakra, an energy meter, and the understanding and the beginning of broadcasting and acting as your spiritual self in your life with the solar plexus chakra. That then is, I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4. That becomes 5 and 6. Okay, so you're only at 6. Only at 6. At the time that you are fully functioning in your lower level chakras to support your next step, which is the most powerful of them all, but powerless without the work of the previous 3. And that's number 7. That's why number 7 is my number. That is the divine number. This is where we come into a greater level of understanding, appreciation, and love for ourselves, and then have the capability of understanding and appreciating and loving others as a result of what we have learned about for ourselves. That number 7, now this is where the boomerangs are really starting to get a beautiful golden brilliance. Okay, number 8 and number 7 is tied to the heart chakra. Number 8 is dealing with our throat chakra, where we begin to allow our positive energy and our truth of understanding truth and wisdom precede us in all things that we do. Written, verbal, actions, habits, behaviors. This is when we take that little step that we took in the solar plexus, added the heart chakra to it, amplified that bugger, and now we're in the throat chakra being everything, everywhere, all the time. Now we're not limited now to our smallish group of people, because we have successfully achieved the education that we needed within that time frame. And as we move into the throat chakra, this is when we become fully ourselves. And from here on out, your boomerangs are unbelievably brilliant. Okay, you are, the throat chakra is a number 8, and that's usually active. That's an active chakra. Much of this is internal. Even the solar plexus is 50-50. Okay, when you arrive in the throat chakra, this becomes the actionable part of spirituality, so that you behave in that fashion in all ways. And those boomerangs, now, let me stop at 8 right now, before we do 9 and 10. Every time you hit a different energy meter level with the corresponding chakra and the corresponding spiritual wisdom tied together in that, you are throwing that level's boomerangs that are returning to you in form of life experiences. Let me say that again. Every step of the energy meter, which is tied to the successful and smooth functioning of each one of our chakras, so that our energy system works correctly, and the spiritual knowledge gained on every level, root, sacral, solar plexus. Is the most important part of all of this. This is the greatest piece for me to have you understand. If you want to understand that concept that I keep saying, you're going to understand the concept of how to utilize your energy properly. And when all of this beneficial energy is coming towards us, if we focus our intention on utilizing that in the highest, best form possible. And we work to align ourselves with it. It will help and assist us in greater wisdom, greater knowledge, greater understanding, greater ability to see truth, a higher level vibration, a newly more brilliant boomerang. We are literally, we're creating what we see tomorrow, today. That's what we're doing. So wherever you are at this very single second, that's what your tomorrow is going to look like. Because you're causing it to be that way. But as you gain in this understanding, this wisdom, then you begin to understand what a logical need we have to learn about our energy and how our spirituality causes that to rise to the energetic vibration of the Most High Creator, so that we may experience all that He would like for us to have through growth, through wisdom. We unconsciously are using our energy. We don't have to think about it, but understanding how it works is largely beneficial when you make your decisions, and when you act out your behaviors and your mannerisms and your habits. This becomes well, where would that action be on the energy meter kind of thing? I just had a little bit of road rage there, cut somebody off, whatever. Well, what kind of energy did that bring me? People will call it karma. There's like a million different names for it. But that's all it is in its basic function. Okay, people will even refer to people being, highly knowledgeable about this, the people that use it, witches. And we call them witches when they're manifesting and throwing out their lower level boomerangs. And we call them chosen when they're throwing, level 10 boomerangs. But all of it, is where our heads are at that moment. Every little bit of it. So, let me keep going. Now, we're at an 8 with the throat chakra. I'm hitting that 8 hard right now, in fact. Anyway, then we go into our third eye chakra. And for me, that third eye chakra is all about gaining that validation in a more functional kind of way of all of the things we've learned here, and pulling them out as resources and of understanding, of vision, truth, of joy and peace. And we're pulling all of these, of love, we're pulling all of these elements from us and using our intuitive guidance based on our experiences to understand how to create things properly. This is when our male and our female, our masculine and our feminine are joining together. The emperor and the empress, the magician and the high priestess. This is where all of these understandings culminate in a much more impactful way. I mean, think about it. You're at an 8. Now you're at a 9. You're like next to the highest energetic vibration a human being can accomplish on their own. Okay? You are, in service to the Most High Creator, because you've been validated so many times about how He has responded to your increased love for self that enabled this growth within you. And your boomerangs are now 9s. Your wisdom in action. You're closing deals that benefit everyone. Your family, you've become the leader of your family. Strong as nails, right? Magnificent manifestors, right? And those boomerangs are beautiful because they're the ones that the Most High Creator helped you create. You didn't try to do it on your own. And then, when we arrive at the crown chakra, that's where life really goes, and you settle out, and it's almost like walking through a cloud, and as you walk through the cloud separates for you. You know what I mean? Because you're so in such a high level vibration that negativity can't even like hit you anymore. Your boomerangs are 10, you're just living it. You're living the dream. Everything is grooving. You're utilizing all of these beautiful energetic gifts of boomerangs that you spread across the world for the goodness of all people. And the more you give, the more you get, because that's what we were created to function as. Givers and receivers, as a cyclical exchange, as part of the dance of life. Now, having all that being said, I need to bring it back home and talk about how we, you and I, unconsciously are always creating energetic boomerangs unconsciously. Like I said, there's going to be times where you question and say, oh wait, where was that on the energy meter? You know, how is that going to affect me later? Okay, and you begin correcting yourself, but to do that too much would be stressful. Simply understanding that and allowing that to like kind of flow out is much easier and perfectly acceptable. You know, you don't want to ever create an ounce of stress because it's counterproductive. You might think you have to like work hard for it, but the Most High Creator created everything to be easy. So when you're educated and understand what it is that we're doing and how to achieve a better result, then you have the opportunity to allow that to permeate in your life and run alongside of other things that you have in your life. And the one that's most positive and beneficial in your life is the one that's going to take on more prominence. And that's simply the way it is. Now, there's a lot of conversation about witchcraft and, you know, all these different things popping up everywhere we look, okay? And I want to give you another helpful hint. You know, I've heard people say return to sender, return to sender, return to sender 1,010 billion times, all right? And I cringe every time I hear it. Because just like everything else, return to sender. What function does that have in your mind? It has the function of returning an evil thought or action back to someone else because they sent it to you. It's a retaliatory request, which won't be honored, but will return a boomerang to you of that same level. So although there's a lot of people walking around acting like it's a form of protection, it is not. Yeah. Not when you think about boomerang. Not when you realize that everything that you say and do coming out of your mouth, whether you say it consciously or unconsciously, or, you know, you've even brought up, but think about it. I mean, the Most High Creator doesn't do things like that. It's, you know, he just doesn't do things like that. Do you think that he's going to honor these kind of requests? Absolutely not. But he's going to use them for the education of the one who sent them and the one who rebuked it in a vindicative manner. Do you get that? It's a cycle of education that needs to be learned. The proper way that I have found that works for me and doesn't hurt anyone, but helps a healing process begin for everyone. Oh, there goes my friend again. It's a little bit windy today. Oh, jeez. It doesn't want to stay. Okay, there we go. Okay, well, we're going to have to be a little bit crooked. So the only thing that I've discovered really works in a beneficial way to all parties is to simply say, I block and bind any negative energies being sent in my direction and send them back to the universe for correction with love. Now, what that does, it halts the energetic vibration. Your positive vibration is reaching out to meet the negative vibration and literally neutralizing it. It's a skill of energy transmutation. A lower level energetic value cannot withstand the power of a higher level energetic value. So by you're literally, sending a positive energy out, and you're just neutralizing the problem, and whatever's left of it just goes back, and the Most High Creator handles it, and it's off your back. And it really works. I mean, I've been subject to that kind of energy projection for a lot in my life. So I can tell you that I've been using it, and it works. And it works better when you say it out loud for some reason. Probably due to the energetic value of your voice to begin with. But that's just a little helpful hint. So going forward in life, friends, as we're cascading into this new era of spirituality, know what we're getting into, right? Learn about the skills that we didn't even know that we had and how to use them correctly. When I went looking, I was surprised too. I really was. And there's a lot of things that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, believe me, you. But the things that I talk about with you are things that, I experimented with, and I took back to the Most High Creator and prayed and meditated, and I tipped my toe in it and used it a little bit. And sometimes he was like, no, run for the hills. I was like, cool. Dropped. Okay? But there was a lot of things where he'd say, experience how it works. Understand its gut processes, the underlying order of the idea. And it's all of these understandings that I gained with the Creator that I share with you today. If we know where we're going and we know what our goal is, we can figure out how to get it done. The strife and the turmoil and the chaos and the conflict is caused because we don't know what the heck to do with it. With all of the fighting all around and all of the mischief and all of the everything happening, we get lost in the sauce. But when we understand how we really work and how to use that for the highest best of not only ourselves, our families, our communities, our states, our countries, and literally the entire world, who wins? And all we're doing, every step of the way, is WWJD. And we know how to do that. We just need to understand the missing elements that we did not previously understand to capture our full greatness. Well, rah, rah, rah for us today, right? That came out of nowhere. I hope you found that insightful and inspiring. And I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye for now.